Welcome to the Inside Integration Podcast. My name is Chris. I am joined, as always, by my friend and partner, Jason.
What's up, everybody?
And welcome to the show. We are we're in full blown holiday craziness mode.
I think they call it the zombie walk to New Year's. That's at least that's been my experience. You know, a lot of dealers are busy, or they're out on holiday, or they're not available by phone. So
Yep.
you know, and I respect that because I know from at least from my personal experience, from September until now has been an absolute sprint race. And
Yeah.
I've never been in a 3 month long sprint race before, but here we are.
And that definitely feels unique to, the building trades here, right? Like don't contact me in December because everybody's deadline is they want to be in, the week before Christmas and everything else. So yeah, dealers are out there scrambling, going crazy. You come right out of a late Thanksgiving and it's just bedlam and mayhem until,
Right.
until you roll in.
I forgot. Yeah, the lateness of Thanksgiving this year always kind of puts that extra pressure on the sales window and the business window for December, right? Like I saw when we were at a meeting the other day, they're like, "Oh, there's 16 days left in December." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's like the 8th or something." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no. When you start talking about business days and where people actually care, it's
Right.
probably more like a dozen days." And I was like, "No."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that
it's
stings.
terrifying. So
That's a horrible realization to come to is like, whoa, I got a week left. I got a week less than what I thought I did before. This is great.
yeah, well, that's what every vendor does. I think generally speaking, across the board, you try to put as many paved stones down during the year, so you've got some ground under your feet when you get to the end of the when you get to the end of the calendar year. And I know, big vendors, many companies do their tax deals so that they can shift some of that burden and some of that freak out to April or whenever they want to file taxes. Maybe it's May, something like that. So
Sure.
yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the industry, but it is nice to have been able to do. How many episodes is this now? We've almost talked to each other for 2 days, or
Oh,
we talked to each other for 2 days straight. I know we're over 48 now, right?
yeah, I think this is 48. I believe this is 48.
So, well, here's the
Hang on, I can
fanfare.
find that out real fast.
Let's get the confetti out and the streamers, party hats,
47.
cake.
This one is 47.
47.
So
Okay, so we're getting real close, right?
we started this thing last year, I think the first or second week of January. So we're coming up on, it's been a
Really?
year almost. Yep.
Boy, oh
We're
boy.
getting there. Had a couple of special episodes mixed in. Those are like the point
Sure.
fives, but yeah, it's we're getting there. I mean, I feel like, maybe I just need to get off my ass and do it, but we need we need like an end of year clip show so that we could take a week off is
Oh,
kind of
right.
where.
Yeah, just sit with our feet up and
Yeah.
relax.
Hey, do you remember that episode? Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that'd be fun. Well, yeah, I'm sure with all your spare time when you're ignoring your wife and children, as you often like to do,
That's how I roll. Yeah.
you'll be able to shove up something. But wow, yeah, I think this is just a great point. For me to just acknowledge. We were doing the gratitude episode earlier, but I'm grateful to you for your dogged determination to continue to keep this thing alive and breathing and going. You do most of the work. I show up and talk. I occasionally try to leverage some of my relationships to drag my friends on here and embarrass them. But by and large, all the success and the look and the feel of all of this is really all down to your vision. So
Well, I appreciate you
that.
saying that, and
Of course.
it's something I very much enjoy doing. Even if
Yeah,
we're
well, we're
just
having
talking,
fun.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Even if we just get together and have a chat before the podcast and don't record it, that's really
Yeah.
what it's all about,
Well,
right?
so those are I have been recording secretly. I have been recording every single one of those, and it's either going to become blackmail material or that'll be the Patreon thing that you can pony up $5 a month to hear
Well,
Jason
who's
and
going to
Chris just.
blackmail who? That's really what it comes down to, because I've also been recording you. So secretly,
So
of
the
course.
difference is being a relative unknown in this industry is I
Oh,
just
damn it.
I don't give a flying F through a rolling donut what you what anybody thinks.
No, nobody knows who I am, man. They forgot. That's fine.
And,
No,
And
Doesn't
now
matter.
we're going to talk about SI.
Oh, wow. Whoa, there's a segue. There's a
No, no.
segue.
But for real, it's definitely been something. I mean, I'm glad to do with you. It's been great, and
Sure.
we definitely covered it on the gratitude episode. But big changes coming for 2025. We're gonna revamp things a little bit. I think we're gonna shuffle some stuff around. We're gonna take advantage of some of the opportunities that we have now that we're a part of a national company and a much bigger group. And in case you missed that announcement, we got bought by the Progressive Group, and they are assembling a team of Avengers across this entire country, which may sound familiar to you because it seems like that's what everybody's doing now. So
I
here we
know, right?
are.
It's, like, were we not, I mean, seriously, were we not literally talking like what, maybe midsummer-ish kind of, or before that, before we went to Cedia, about why isn't there a an affiliated national rep organization that
Yeah.
has all of the same lines from border to border, what have you? Like, why isn't that a thing? And I mean, maybe Chris Gilray was on the bus with us or something.
I
I'm not
mean,
sure,
yeah,
but
maybe
it
just
clearly was not an original
lurking.
thought. Yeah, it was not an
Right.
original thought because clearly some other folks saw that opportunity and have decided to take a shot at it. And I applaud that. I'm excited about where these changes are going to go. I think it's
Yeah.
going to really solidify the rep game as an industry thing,
Yep.
right? Like, far more of the regimented experience, maybe, as opposed to some of the pirate ships that have sailed the seas of AV sales for the last, 25 years, 30 years or so, but, or, geez, 40, 50 years probably, right? But,
Yeah.
yeah, it's exciting to see what these changes are going to bring. But, and there's also changes with our product lines, and maybe this is the segue for that, maybe not, but I'm just going to take that hard left
Hey.
off of the interstate here into onto some surface roads. But you may or may not have seen in the press that Screen Innovations has made the move to bring their entire sales and support team in house. So as effective, I guess, January 1 or January 2nd, if you're not working on New Year's Day, I understand. We will no longer represent Screen Innovations, nor will any other independent rep firm across the country, for that matter. So it's not like
Yep.
we're singled out. It's not like we're doing a bad job or any of that stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
just a corporate change in direction.
And this is, again, for me, I'm kind of an outsider in this whole rep thing. And this seems like a pretty normal thing. Like we've seen this happen before. There's changes in markets. We pick up lines, we put down lines. Essentially, we operate on, you got about a 30-day there's about a 30
Yeah.
day contract there, and you just go from one to the next to the next. So a lot of shifting and stuff is not, it's not out of the normal. And hey, a lot of manufacturers, they just decide that they want to consolidate it. They don't, want to use that local expertise. They just want to build that thing out themselves. And hey, that's great, man. SI makes a great product, and it's full of great people, and we wish them nothing
Yeah.
but the best.
Absolutely. And I think, obviously, if you're looking at where their business is shifting, traditional AV reps maybe don't align with what their goals are. If the projection screen business is shrinking and the shade business is blowing up, I could be completely wrong, and I certainly have my own opinion on where I think where I think your relationships and those kinds of things pay dividends. But this is a business, this is a capitalist market, right? So people are going to try to make the right moves that they think are the ones for them. And, as you said, we applaud people for making choices that they feel are going to benefit them and do what's right for their teams and their company. But, I've
Absolutely.
certainly enjoyed representing Screen Innovations. It's a fun brand. They've got some fun people over there, people we've made friends with and will continue to be friends with beyond this. So,
Well, speak for yourself, Jason, because they're all dead to me now. But
oh wow.
I'm
Well,
just kidding.
maybe they're former SI employees.
I'm
No, I'm
just
just
joking.
kidding. I'm just kidding too. But I think it's fun to talk about this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
all of the changes in rep firms and changes in manufacturers are kind of like mentioned in whispers. At least from my experience, it's always like, ooh, you don't want to talk about that. Like, why wouldn't we talk
It's
about
just a
this?
normal part of the business.
It's part of
That's
the
all it
game.
is.
Hey, and things are happening for whatever reason. So
Yep.
again, we wish them the best and look forward to seeing what all this cool stuff looks like. And I want to stay friends with those guys, not because you know I love to burn bridges, because I don't. But I mean, let's face it. They still have some pretty cool solutions. I'm trying to get some cool
It's going to stay.
shades.
You want to stay friends long enough to get your
Yeah,
shades.
no, beyond that, because it's a quid pro quo. Everybody does this
That's how
stuff,
this
right?
works. Sure.
That's how this works. So yeah, scratch my back. I want to get some Nino shades for the house, and
There you go.
we'll see what we got. You know, we can do some trading.
Absolutely. And I mean, and we'll see those guys at, at Letapalooza, and it won't be awkward at all. It won't be like like a Jets Shark
Oh man,
showdown with.
I got to work on my dance moves and my cigarette smoking, because I'm terrible at both of
There
those
you go.
things. If we're gonna do a real West Side Story reenactment, I got to get my seersucker like no collar jackets on.
Oh no, yeah, it's
I got to
absolutely.
I got the hair for it. I just got to brush it the right way.
Cuff up your jeans and get you're ready to rock and roll.
Start
But
chugging Luckies.
there you yeah. Coffin nails, baby.
Yeah, baby, love it. Lung darts, so good.
Lung darts. Yeah, so so there's that. But onto other stuff. We and just kind of contributing to what's what all this other stuff that we got going on, and I'm throwing you a curve here, Jason, because we didn't talk about this before the call, but we're trying to stand up an event for Sony in the Pacific Northwest, and we've just kind of started discussions on it, and I guess this is kind of an appeal to all you folks out there who listen normally. We're trying to come up with things that will get people in the door, and we want to do a really great event. We kind of want this thing to coincide with our new partnership with our national firm and our transition into progressive, and
Coming out party doesn't sound like the right way to put it. Depending on
depends on the market, Chief. Depends on the
where
market.
you're at in the country. And I can't believe that I just said that, but I just said it anyway. Why not? But like, I don't know how we're going to brand that specific launch, right? But I think
I know
I think
exactly
you're
how.
right. Oh well, I know you know.
Same idea as with the thumbnails. It's just going to be a flag, and it's going to say "We're coming out," and people can take that to mean whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, this is a pretty purple state, generally speaking.
Listen,
So
if I can't appropriate culture, then what am I doing as a marketing?
what are
person,
you
right?
doing, really? I mean, if you can't steal somebody's idea and make it your own, you're really missing out on a big opportunity.
But anyway, so the thought is that when we do these regional shows, and CDA regional is great, and the CD national show is great and whatever, but one of the things that we want to bring in as a value to dealers to frankly get them to come in the door, get them to come and enjoy this event and network and do all the other fun stuff is we're looking to do some trainings, and we really want to have, and when you hear training in this industry, it's typically like, oh, training, it's this sales training, it's how to sell this thing, and it's whatever, and yada, yada, yada. We want to bring some more practical stuff to the table. So more like, hey, here's this event, it's 3 months out. We want you to, come out, see the demos, do the stuff, but bring your team, because we're going to have a training on X and how to install X and how to get this thing done. That's going to be, something that will bring value to your team, right? We preach on this all the time here. Like, how do you, getting guys trained and up to speed is, making a more effective team is like one of the most important things you could do in this thing. And,
Paramount to success is knowledge, right?
it really is. And, coming up with these ideas, again, this is an appeal to anybody listening or sees this thing or sees a transcript. Let us know, like, what kind of things would you want your team to learn? Like, a couple of things that we've kind of, put out there is, maybe a short training on, because Sony is going to be there. Sony is going to be an integral part of this. We hope, Sony, and, a thing on not a calibration, but like how to get that TV that you just hung, or how to get this guy on your team to be able to set up this TV to like 99% of the way there, right? how to set all the HDR stuff, how to make this picture look absolutely amazing for your client. And it's something that it doesn't kind of exist, or maybe it exists in a one-on-one setting, right? When a manufacturer comes to a dealer and maybe you run that thing, but like making this part of a show is something that we're interested in doing, right? Something like that. Maybe something like, how to how to set up a Sonance digital amplifier, right? Like, we put these 8130s in projects and they are just capabilities to the max, but whoever uses any of that stuff,
the DSP, or how does that stuff work? Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, and we're spitballing here, but I think there's definitely value in the clinic style of training, right? Where you take it out of the sales stuff and you really put the techie stuff in these guys' hands, and maybe you get sales guys that come out
sure,
and want to, because they dabble, or vice versa.
or because they need to know how much time to sell on a job. Right? Like if you know the steps that are involved in actually installing the thing, you can quote a more accurate price, right?
How many people complaining to me when I worked for the Big S? It takes so long to get through the setup on the TV. I'm like, are you not charging for this hour of time? Well, I didn't think I should have to charge an hour of time. Like, what are you talking about? This thing's a computer. This thing's a cell phone without an earpiece or a microphone. Well, it probably does both of those on it, but regardless, you can't make a phone call from it, right? Like, but in the broader strokes, that's what the TV's become. It's just become another internet gateway for content. If you have the expectation you're going to walk into that and just pick it up and start running with no account set up, no time invested, how does that work with your laptop? How does that work with your phone? How does that work with with any other device you got out there? So yeah, I agree with you. I would love to hear some input from the folks out there in the world that, hey, like if I was going to invest my time for my guys to come and do something, it would be really great if we could see, whatever the example is. Obviously, with Sony, we've got options. We've got audio. We've got projection. We've got TV. Those are the big three.
There's a lot we're looking at. I mean, we're lucky enough to have a lot of really great lines. Sony being like the premier of it, and again, being able to park your guy in a room for an hour and he's going to learn how to set up, every piece of this TV so that your lead guy can move on to doing the next room or whatever it is. Like,
or
these
just be able to ask those questions.
Exactly.
Right? Like take me from the out of box. I've taken this TV out of box. Let's get it back to dead nuts beginning. How do we get there? Here's some of those, here's some of those tips and trips. And by the way, we're going to film the whole thing so that we're going to take credit for all of this documentation. And
because if there's something I do really well, it's riding coattails of people who are far smarter than me, and that will be part of this this thing as well. But to see it in person is huge.
That's the big one, right? And to have that connection with the factory people, that's a big thing that Sony harps on, is they know that they're a giant ship on the ocean and there's a bunch of little people on rafts trying to interact with it, right? But it's nice to have people that recognize how to talk to the people on the rafts, like, hey, I'm here. I'm the person that can, I'm the TV person, or I'm the AV person, or I'm, you name the vertical at Sony. There are people, and it is a company philosophy to make it, kind of an objective to make it easy for those other people to interact with Sony. You need to be the personal component to these interactions. And, obviously I used to work there, don't work there anymore, but I will say that my experience post Sony, they are fairly unique, and I would say almost a unicorn when it comes to major CEs out there. Obviously, luxury brands, Sonance is no slouch when it comes to the size of the business that they are and that kind of stuff. But it's a different lane, right? It's just a completely different lane.
Well, and these are things too. There's obviously Lightapalooza is coming up, and Lightapalooza's big tentpole is the trainings, right? Like, it's just days and days of trainings. It's why you're going. It's to the expo part is great and networking is great, but the trainings and being able to to fill out your knowledge, your body of knowledge on lighting stuff is super important. And that's kind of our thought with this too, right? Now that we have a few lighting lines, we figure there's probably an opportunity for, if you just hit somebody up point blank, like, okay, how would you design and wire a linear lighting system, right? Like, what do you do? How do you lay out power supplies? What's the wiring? What's the distance? Where should you clip these things on so that you don't get a transition over the length of the thing that makes it a lot dimmer at one end than the other.
Or you don't get voltage over distance drop where you got brightness on one end and dim on the other. And how do I avoid that?
Exactly. So that's one thing that we're, looking to get into. That's just one way to stand it up. Again, how to do, low voltage, right? Like where to put those fixtures, where to do this, where to do whatever. And I'm just throwing stuff around. We're not committing anybody, but maybe saying it publicly, shames people into wanting to do this with us, which is a tactic that I rely on often.
I've never seen you press the awkward button on anybody.
No, the awkward button is, it's just, I live it and breathe it. I am an awkward button. But that is, so anyway, so that's kind of what we're kicking around, and all of the usual things, right? Like one of the things that we're going to do, with an event like this is we're going to do a side-by-side shootout. That was one of the feedbacks that we got at the Sony shows that we did last year, was that Sony and a competitor, A and B, here's what this thing looks like, here's what that thing looks like. That's something that we are going to make happen with this. So that's a reason to go just right there, because you're not going to get that kind of comparison somewhere else. You're not going to go into a Best Buy and actually see this thing in world conditions, right, and be able to A/B it. So that's a reason. Plus a lot of the, we're hoping that by that time that some of the information on the new stuff is coming out. So learning about the new stuff, that's another angle. And that's just Sony, right? Like we want to involve the lines that we have and kind of make this a pretty big thing, right? So Sonat's being involved and doing a lot of the same things. And again, maybe a system design training, right? Maybe it's an hour and here's a system design training. Here's the right way to put in a discrete opening speaker system, or how to plan for this and that and the other thing. So we're kicking these things around. And we want to hear from you, right? Like if you're listening to the show, you're in this industry, you're not just some rando, So.
Yeah, hit us up on YouTube, leave us a comment, hit us up on Instagram at inside_integration. I think I actually did get a message or two on there. I have to look back and see, but we monitor that. There is no team. This is the team.
This is what you're looking at.
It comes straight to my phone. So even if you want to heckle us, we appreciate the feedback.
And it would be nice to break the monotony of just Jayson getting OnlyFans links from people, right? So we need to, let's dilute that pool a little bit with some folks who are actually listeners and involved. But yeah, so, and again, this is completely out of left field, kind of spitballing here, but it's definitely something we're looking to stand up. We're looking to stand it up in the very beginning of March to kind of thread that needle between Lightapalooza, ProSource, HTSA, all of these things that are going on. And we're looking to do it locally. And, we're looking to do this in the Pacific Northwest. We're looking to do one in NorCal. We're trying to push this out here. And, it's one of these things. We've had great turnout for the last couple. We want to keep that going, but we really, more than anything else, we want to give,
we want to give back. We want to make sure
that it adds
value
right?
to your day.
Exactly.
100%. So
exactly.
To just do another regurgitation and buy you guys lunch and give you guys some t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's great.
The dog and pony show is played out.
We want to do something bigger and badder. So speaking of shows and upcoming events and dog and ponies, what about this the Sony event with the Leon?
Yeah, we're pushing it pretty hard. There's a great webinar coming up next week. I believe it's the 16th and 17th. I got that right? Right. Yeah, there's it's a whole thing. The new Leon frame, the studio frame, is available for the Bravia 7 TV, which is just, man, that thing looks so slick.
It looks so nice, great. Right? Like it's a different vibe, obviously, than some of the other frame solutions out there, but this has a far richer, I would say, look to it than just some of the other frame options that we'll see on the market out there. I'll just leave it at that. It definitely has a more custom. Looks like some of the bigger, more sturdy pieces of art that you would hang, like a big mirror or something like that. It has kind of more of that presence. And like an 85-inch with a frame around it. pretty hot. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a pretty good looking deal, right?
it
So
is. It's so slick, and yeah, and the the artwork gallery and all that stuff. That's all pretty amazing. It's
well,
all
it's
through
free.
Sony and
That's
free.
one thing
Yep.
that's one thing like everybody yips and yells about frame products, and I'm like, your clients are like paying for this, right? Like, no, they're not subscribed to anything. It's just the concept in their mind that they can't get over. I'm like, it's very wishy-washy. You should be able to, kind of come back at a client and say, is that really what you want? Or, we can actually give you solutions basically the same thing, but it doesn't cost any extra to continue to participate, or it doesn't become a cash pump for another $5 a month or whatever
Yep. Yep.
for adding the aesthetic that you've already paid for, frankly.
Yep.
So
So check your inbox, check our socials for those links.
please do.
There's 2 sessions each day. There's like a 6 a.m. one for the West Coast, and there's a 9 a.m. one, which is a more reasonable time for us West Coasters. But it's all about this new frame for the Bravia 7, and it is absolutely worth listening to because man, this is going to be a pretty slick product to pair with that TV. So, yep.
I agree. What else did we have on the deck?
I
We got
mean,
Lightapalooza coming up. We've kind of talked about some of the changes that we've got going on around here. I think it's season of change. We're getting ready to zombie walk into 2025 and see what that looks like, and what the bigger, more grandiose changes to the world are going to look like for the next few years and beyond. So
it's true. Hey, man, dealing with uncertainty 2 episodes ago. It's a good guide.
I would just say we've gotten some positive feedback on that episode. So if you want to hear two non-experts prattle on about what they've been through and what they think is a good idea, I would encourage you guys to give it a listen. And there's a couple of good jokes in there, I think, too.
Yeah, just a couple, just a few. But yeah, I think that's. I mean, we're kind of here. We are having we're doing our company Christmas thing next week, so we may or may not have an episode. We're gonna try. We might we're gonna have a special holiday episode and pull in people who are not usually on here. Maybe we'll corner our boss. That would be fun.
Somebody.
We'll see how it goes. It's more a matter of like, well, if I'm flying to Seattle and then flying back, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to edit this thing. So we'll do the best we can. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week.
We thank you guys for listening as always. Thanks for sticking around this long. Again, check us out on the socials. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.